Today's lesson will focus on how to add, or in other words, how to find the sum of decimal numbers using base 10 blocks, or in this case, a representation of base 10 blocks. Typically, the flat has always represented 100, the rod has represented 10, and the unit has represented 1. But if we're speaking about decimals, the flat now equals 1, the rod represents 1/10, and the unit represents 1/100th. Let's see how this works. If we were to model 1 and 42 hundredths plus 87 hundredths, this is how it would look. The 1 and 42 hundredths is represented by 1 flat, 4 rods, and 2 units. The 87 hundredths is represented by 8 rods and 7 units. Step number 2 is to combine the base 10 blocks. Most students skip this step and move directly to step number 3. Notice in the 10th spot there are many rods, and remember 10 rods will equal 1 flat. We can now see that 10 of the 12 rods have come together to form another flat. Therefore, my final answer to 1 and 42 hundredths plus 87 hundredths equals 2 and 29 hundredths. Now, for simplicity's sake, and for the lack of my artistic ability, we will represent the flats using a simple square, remembering that this is equal to 1. The rods will be represented by a line representing 1/10, and the unit will be represented by a dot, which is equivalent now to 1/100th. Let's try another example. If I have the number 8/10 plus 3/10, how would I model that? For my 8/10, I'm going to draw 8 rods, and for my 3/10, 3 rods. Knowing that 10 rods make a flat, I will partition those off, and I know now that that is equal to 1, and all I have left over is 1 rod, which is equal to 1/10. So my answer becomes 1 and 1/10. Another example, if I were to represent 2 and 9/10, this is how I would draw it, and 1 and 4/10 would look like this. Again, looking at the number of rods that I have, I will combine them together to make a group of 10, which is equivalent to 1 whole. Altogether, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 whole numbers. So the number 4 goes in the 1 spot, and I have 3/10 left over. My final answer becomes 4 and 3/10.